Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We are on ayah number 116 of Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah Jalla wa Ala says, وَقَالُوا اتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ وَلَدًا سُبْحَانَهُ بَلْ لَهُ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ كُلٌّ لَهُ قَانِتُونَ. And they say, meaning to say the kuffar, be it the Jews, the Christians or the mushrikun, that Allah has begotten a walad, meaning a child. As for the Christians, this is obvious enough. As for the mushrikun, they also said that Allah has begotten children. For example, the angels are the daughters of Allah. As for the Jews, now Allah Jalla wa Ala tells us that they said that Uzair is the son of Allah Jalla wa Ala. At least in that time, there must have been some Jews, either all or a party of them, who made that claim. Subhanahu, this is from tasbih, and this is where Allah is removed from all imperfection. Bal, meaning nay, it is to negate what has preceded. To him belongs all that which is in the samawat, plural of sama, we have spoken about this. Wal ard, this means the earth. Everyone is qanitun. This is a key word. This means mudallal or submissive. As for the Muslimun, they are willingly submissive. As for the kafirun, they are not willingly submissive, but they are still submissive to his decree. The kuffar cannot fight against the decree of Allah Jalla wa Ala. And they cannot use their free will to do anything which Allah does not allow in his dominion. So the point about making mention of the dominion of the heavens and the earth is that such a being who owns this much does not need some kind of child to help him in his old age. Allah is beyond this. Neither does Allah need a child to carry on his lineage. Humans need these types of things. Allah is beyond such needs. Ayah 117 carries on. بَدِيعُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَإِذَا قَضَى أَمْرًا فَإِنَّمَا يَقُولُ لَهُ كُن فَيَكُونُ. Badi' is a key word, which means inventor or originator, somebody who brought it about anew. It is where the word bid'ah comes from, innovation. So Allah has innovated the heavens and the earth. No one did it before him, obviously. إِذَا قَضَى, this word qada means when he decrees something. Qada and qadar mean the same thing, except if you want to differentiate between them, then qadar would be when the matter actually comes to pass, and qada would be when he had decreed it before it came to pass. Otherwise, qada and qadar are the same thing, when you decree something to happen. So when he decrees something to happen, he just says be, and it is. So you see the simplest of words being used to bring about the most extraordinary of creations. Such is the limitless power of Allah Jalla wa Ala. So picking up on some points of reflection in these two ayat, we may take that most of mankind is rebellious against Allah Jalla wa Ala. Indeed, they insult Allah by saying that he has begotten a son. And likewise, they also belie Allah by saying that there is going to be no resurrection. And this is what is mentioned in the hadith, where Allah Jalla wa Ala says in a hadith Qudsi, كَذَّبَنِي ابْنُ آدَمْ وَلَيْسَ لَهُ ذَلِكَ. The son of Adam belies me, and he has no right to do so. وَشَتَمَنِي وَلَيْسَ لَهُ ذَلِكَ. And he insults me, and he has no right to do so. And then Allah explains it. As for his belying me, he claims that I am unable to bring him out again as he was the first time round. And as for his insulting me, then he says that I have begotten a son. Subhani, may I be removed from all imperfection, that I should have a wife or a child. And the reason why it does not even make sense that Allah should have a child is because, for the reasons we have mentioned, you normally have a child to continue your lineage, you have a child to help you in your old age, you have a child to have a family so you can have people around you, people to love and be loved by. All of this does not apply to Allah Jalla wa Ala. He simply is in no need of anything. And then besides, a child of a divine being would himself be at least somewhat divine. And there could be none who is divine except Allah Jalla wa Ala. because otherwise you enter into the territory of multiple divine beings, and that is just shirk. And we also find that Allah justifies His lack of need of any child by saying that He owns everything in the heavens and the earth. He has no need for any children. He is the originator of the heavens and the earth. We also pick up that every single human and jinn is under the decree of Allah Jalla wa Ala. We find that Allah only needs to say be and it will be. So somebody of this level of power does not need a child to help him out or give him any family support. Also, we notice that samawat, plural, is used. So we find that the sky or the highness has layers, and we know that there are 7 layers. We may take that Allah can speak because He says kun, so this is a speech, and it is a speech which is fitting to Him, with words and sounds which are unique and fitting to His divine status. We may also take that when He says kun, the matter happens immediately. Now, of course, the process of creation may take time, but the initiation of the creation happens immediately. So when Allah says be, the universe is created. It's not created in an instance. The actual initiation of the creation begins immediately, even though the heavens and the earth were created in 6 epochs, which is a large stretch of time. Let us take ayah 118. وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ لَوْلَا يُكَلِّمُنَا اللَّهُ أَوْ تَأْتِينَا آيَةٌ كَذَلِكَ قَالَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ مِثْلَ قَوْلِهِمْ تَشَابَهَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ قَدْ بَيَّنَّا الْآيَاتِ لِقَوْمٍ يُوقِنُونَ. So he says, وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ, those who do not know, they say. So here Allah is relaying to us the statement of the ignoramuses. And you always find that it is the ignoramuses who reject the truth, and they challenge the truth, such as in this ayah. They say, why does Allah yukallimuna not speak to us? أو تأتينا ayah, or an ayah, a sign does not come to us. And what they refer to when they say sign is one of these miracles. Otherwise, the Quran and other scriptures are from the most manifest signs, but what they are referring to are these bombastic miracles, like some kind of magic trick. كَذَلِكَ, just like that, meaning just like what has preceded in this ayah, those before them said. So in other words, it's not just the kuffar of this ummah who are demanding from you, O Prophet, some kind of magic trick miracle. Rather, the kuffar of the previous nations also made such demands. Tashabahat, resembling, qulubuhum, their hearts. We have spoken about the word qalb before. So their hearts resemble. And so it should be no surprise that their beliefs and statements and actions also resemble. And he ends by saying, we have already made plain the signs for a people who yuqinun, from yaqeen. Now, yaqeen comes from the word yaqina, which means to be still. They say yaqina al-ma, the water is still, as in a pond, the water is still. And so yaqeen is when you are still or unshakable. So it means certainty, because when you have certainty, you are solid and unshakable, like a mountain. But when you are in doubt, you are like that leaf in the wind, flying left and right and not stable and still. So the intended meaning here is that if you are from those who are seeking to be certain of the truth, then the ayat of the Quran and all these other miracles which the Prophet has been given, such as the splitting of the moon and other than that, are enough for you to attain certainty. But if you are not seeking to attain certainty of the truth, then no amount of signs will be sufficient for you. The problem is not the lack of signs, the problem is your lack of commitment to the truth and your lack of humility towards the truth. So reflecting on this, we can immediately take that ignorance is one heck of a poison. It makes you say and do things which are dangerous. We also take that people who are rebellious and stubborn, they will ask questions and they will ask for signs, not because they're genuinely interested in the truth, but because they want to put you in a difficult situation. We call this su'al at-ta'annut. We may also take that Allah Jalla wa Ala is not obliged to give the people the signs that they demand. We call it ayatul iqtirah, signs which they suggest should be given. No, Allah gives the signs, and those who are honest and seeking the truth, they will accept. Others will not. So you cannot treat Allah as if He is a waiter in a restaurant. You give the order and He brings you your order. We pick up in this ayah that Allah grants solace to the Prophet. Because just like how the mushrikun are demanding signs which are nothing more than magic tricks, so the same thing happened to the previous Prophet as well. So when the Prophet knows that his brothers from the other prophets were also in the same situation, then this will grant him some solace. And you find throughout the Quran, Allah periodically grants solace to the Prophet. We may also take from the ayah that the objections that people bring forth today are the same in nature to the objections people brought forth from the bygone era. Why is this? It is as Allah says, تَشَابَهَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ. So of course they're going to say things which are similar, do things which are similar, and pursue the same type of misguidance. In fact, whenever He speaks about nations of the past being destroyed, this is a solace for the Prophet. And we also find, like we have said before, only certain types of people will benefit from the ayat, not others. We can also take that the more certainty you have, the more ayat of Allah will become plain to you, and so you will increase in your certainty. Let us take ayah 119. إِنَّا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ بِالْحَقِّ بَشِيرًا وَنَذِيرًا وَلَا تُسْأَلُ عَنْ أَصْحَابِ الْجَحِيمِ. Indeed, we have أَرْسَلْنَاكَ, sent you, that is, sent you to the whole of mankind and jinnkind. بِالْحَقِّ, with the truth. Now this could mean that your being sent is the truth, as in you are the true messenger. And it can also mean that what you are sent with is the truth, as in the Quran and the inspiration. Bashir, from Bushra, good news, is one who gives glad tidings. Nadhir is the one who warns. So you give glad tidings to those who believe, and you warn those who are stubborn. And he says you will not be asked about the ashab, plural of sahib, those who keep with something. And Jahim is one of the names of the fire of Jahannam. So that is to say, you will not be asked, did you guide them or did you misguide them? Because your job is just to convey. If you've conveyed, then that's enough. Your job is done. You will not be asked about what the outcome was. There's another way of reciting this. وَلَا تَسْأَلْ عَنْ أَصْحَابِ الْجَحِيمِ. Do not ask about the dwellers of the fire. So it's a nahi, a prohibition. So upon this qira'ah, it would mean that these people are in such a horrid state, do not even ask about them, because it's not like you can even envisage the type of trouble they're in. Okay, reflecting on this, what might we pick up? We pick up that Allah is giving the Prophet confidence in who he is. He is the real messenger. And Allah has to make these seemingly obvious statements, because do not forget that the whole city of Makkah, pretty much, is belying him. They are telling him that he's mad, he's a liar, he's this and that. And one may begin to doubt oneself if so many people are doubting you. This is why Allah Jalla wa Ala has to keep the Prophet firm by reminding him that he is upon the truth and they are upon misguidance, even if they are the majority. We find the two major roles of the Prophet is to give glad tidings and to give a warning. And with this we find the Sharia is absolutely balanced. It has both. One without the other is no good. In fact, it's extreme. So we must always maintain balance. Sometimes you have to do one more than the other. Maybe some circumstances call for more glad tidings to be given. Other circumstances call for more warning to be given. It depends on the situation and the person. But in the overall sense, we find a beautiful balance struck by the Sharia. We may also take that The Prophet, and for that matter us as well, calling to Tawheed, we are not responsible for guiding the kuffar. So we will not be asked about whether the kuffar were guided or not. But we will be asked about whether we conveyed the message. Wallahu a'lam.